webinar with Elite Currency. My name is Chris Sворcik. Thank you for joining. Very happy that we're here again on this Thursday. 2 weeks ago, of course, we had our last one. We will have every 2 weeks a new webinar. So the next one will be on the November the 30th, and we'll take a look at the final November results. In this particular webinar, we're going to take a look at the Black Friday special, okay, but also the November results so far. What kind of performance have we seen in the first 2 weeks? We're going to take a look at the economic overview of what's going on and some ECS updates, those Black Friday discounts I mentioned, and any questions from your side. Okay, so let's start with the November performance so far in the first 2 weeks, halfway point basically. Flagship, ZUCA, Athena EA, ECS signals all in positive territory. Flagship up as much as 13%. This is an average, so some accounts will be less, some accounts will be more, but great performance so far. Very happy, of course, with 13% in just 2 weeks. We'll have to see how the second half of November will develop, of course, but it looks quite likely that it will be a positive month in any case. And normally we have max a drawdown of 7 to 10%. So even if we encounter such a drawdown, we'll still be in positive territory in November. And so very excited about that. Flagship showing a very strong performance so far. ZUCA and Athena EA, steady as it goes, the typical 2-3%, but in this case already halfway 2-3%. So I think that probably a little bit stronger performance on average than usual. So they're also quite good news. And ECS signals keeps moving forward with an impressive October and a pretty good September, and now again a rocking November with almost 12%. So across the board, green numbers, and very happy to see that performance. Okay, now it's red. That's just a style design format. It's actually a plus number. Normally red is used for minus. This is a plus figure, so don't get me wrong with that. Plus 13% in November, and of course this is an average. So we are working with a larger number of brokers for multiple reasons, from a risk diversity point of view, from an account point of view, that we don't have all the capital on one or two brokers, and from a performance point of view, so we can see which accounts are doing better. And across those 20 brokers, it's 13%, plus 13%. And in the meantime, as I mentioned last time, I crossed the $500,000 mark just with my own capital. And if you include Nikita and other ECS members, we're getting close to $1 million. So that's quite exciting, quite an interesting mark to pass, of course, going from 6 to 7 figures in that case. So that's exciting. But of course, we're trading with the risk capital that we can afford to lose. Even though I'm very excited about Flagship, even though it has 4 years of live trading track record, trading will always remain risky, and it's something that needs to be done with risk capital that you can afford to lose. Of course, you've heard that probably before, but we should always mention that. That said, I personally feel very confident enough to trade with this amount of capital because of that track record, because of the consistency, the low drawdown. So those are my own reasons for allocating this amount of capital to Flagship. I'm also trading with Athena EA, ZUCA, and other EAs, but with less capital. Okay, the bulk of my capital is on Flagship, but that will, of course, depend on your risk appetite. The drawdown on Athena EA is typically higher. As you can see, it's about 29%, whereas with Flagship, the drawdown is, in my experience, anywhere between 7 and 10%, if I remember correctly. But in any case, this is still a very sturdy monthly result, 3% more consistent. Look at the curve, but that also means it has a certain risk because of the grid approach. So we should be aware of that, and that's why I do trade this, but with a lower amount of capital. But the consistency is there. You can see from a month-to-month perspective, anywhere around 3 to 4% is typical. ZUCA has a pretty good month. 2.6. Last month was really great, plus 7.6%, and also steady as it goes, and has made a all-time high on the other account with plus 80%. And then we have ECS Live making a great comeback. It struggled a bit in the first quarter here. No, sorry. Yes, indeed, first quarter, January, February, March of 2023. But after that, it's been pretty good. Went sideways for a couple of months, but last a couple of months pulling up and moving forward. And November has been great so far. Okay, so those are a quick overview of the recent performance with these EAs and managed accounts. Now, regarding the flagship managed account, so far it was not easy for traders to join the flagship managed accounts. It was only possible through a crypto payment. Now, Elite Currency is offering flagship managed accounts through PAMs and probably 3 different brokers and PAMs. It will be available. So there's also not only the PAM is available, but also a choice of 3. So if you're interested and you're able to trade with enough risk capital to trade with all 3 brokers, because there's going to be some minimum capital per broker, maybe 500, maybe 1,000. I don't know yet for sure. Then you could try 1, 2, or even 3 to diversify the risk. And it should be available next week, 2 of them. And 1 more is coming soon, either this month or otherwise next month. So I think this is great news. It allows traders and investors to join the flagship managed account with the capital you want to risk. And I think it's exciting because it's where I have the most of my capital. I, of course, have some diversification, but it is the place where I have the most capital. It is the place where I have more than $500,000 of capital invested. And it is also the place and method that has the lowest drawdown. Okay, so that's why I like it the most. Of course, there is some volatility in the gains. 1 month might be +1 or -1. Another month might be +15. But that's okay for me. I don't need every month to have +4. It's not a grid trading system, so that's why you have that little bit of fluctuation. So now you have the best way of joining these flagship managed accounts. The only thing you need to do is open an account with one of these brokers or all of these brokers through us, add capital, join the PAM, and that's it. Just sit back and watch the trading, keep an eye on the results, but you don't have to do any active trading. That's all done by Elite Currency. Then, of course, there are the Black Friday discounts, which are available till the end of November. I'm going to share you those discounts in a second. And we have some other updates regarding the EAs. We have Cronus EA improvements on 6 major currency pairs. And we have Athena EA improvements. So let's go through those. With Cronus, I like this EA. It's very consistent. And I think it's something that I like as a style of trading. It doesn't only trade the euro dollar, but it also trades the pound dollar, and I believe the dollar CAD and the dollar yen. So there are more currency pairs and choices. It's very sturdy here, as you can see, 3-4%. The worst month was minus 0.97%. And I like this EA. It's something I trade with about 3,000 euros. So it's not a ton of money, but still a decent amount of capital. And that's what I entrust this EA with. And so far, I've seen good results. Athena EA we've made some great improvements in the sense that in the past you needed $4,000 or $5,000 as a minimum capital before starting with Athena EA. That has been reduced to 1,000, so it's a big difference for some traders that don't want to trade with that much capital on just one EA, which is wise, of course, to be careful with such aggressive investment strategies. Now the minimum is 1,000, so that could open the door for some who think, okay, maybe 1,000 is worth risking. So that's the good news. And there are also enhanced grid settings, which have lowered the risk for this EA in our view. So all of that is explained in this blog article link here at the bottom. With regard to Black Friday, all the EAs when buying or renting have 30% off. Be aware that the minimum suggested equity for Athena EA is not 2.5, but 1,000 at this moment. So that's valid for Athena EA, Zeus EA, Hades EA, and Cronus EA. So, and this discount is available till the end of November, so till November the 30th. And the great news about all these EAs is that they trade different types of instruments. So Athena EA fully focused on the euro dollar, but the Zeus EA trades gold. Hades EA trades DAX and Dow, so the stock indices. And Cronus EA does trade the euro dollar, so there's a small overlap with Athena EA. But on the other hand, it trades 5 other currency pairs. So it's a very diverse set of EAs that trade different instruments and assets, and or I should say instruments. In fact, it's the better word. So that's a great mix. 30% off is a nice discount. Think about it. If you have that risk capital to spare, it's available till the end of November. And then we have the flagship offer when basically you pay less profit share until the end of November with the capital that you invest. So if you invest directly through crypto, it's usually 45% profit share percentage. Now it's 35, and that's valid for 2 years. Okay. And if you join through regular channel through the PAM, the profit share decrease is valid for 90 days. So not 45%, but 35% in both cases. So 35% profit share percentage, not 45. But if you join the PAM, that special offer is available for 3 months, 1 quarter. And if you join through crypto, investing directly via crypto, I should say, it's valid for 2 years. The same profit share percentage, no, a little bit less, 30% is available for the managed accounts of the Athena and Zeus EA PAM. So the difference there is that the discounts in the previous slide is available for renting and buying the EAs, whereas Athena EA and Zeus EA, we also have PAMs or managed accounts. So there's no upfront payment, but there is a profit share fee when there is a profit at the end of the month, or when the month is finished, I should say. So here too, there's a discount with the profit share. 90 days, there's no profit share fees when investing through ECS. And 30 days, no profit share fees when investing through a supported broker. Okay. So nice discounts, no profit share fees for 1 or 3 months, depending on how you invest with these PAMs. And if you choose a mixture of flagship and other methods like Athena, Zeus, or our EA mix, which is a Hades at the moment, then basically you can pay 30% profit share fee for 2 years, or 35% if you invest through a sponsored broker, but it's only available through direct crypto investment. Okay, so I know there's a lot of information, might seem a little bit confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address, info@elitecurrency.com, to clarify anything that's not clear. Okay, but basically, in our experience and general kind of advice, I would not invest all of the capital in Athena EA and HCA. I mean, it's everyone's choice. It's their risk capital to risk, but we would not do that ourselves. Okay, we think that the max should be 20 to 30% plus minus, but of course it depends on how much risk a trader wants to take, because Zucia and Athena EA are more risky in our view than flagship, and that's why we have more capital on flagship and less on Athena. But we do have some on Athena and Zeus, just to diversify, and because they offer good returns and more consistency, etc. So depending on what you're interested in, whether it's rental and getting that 30% discount and keeping the profits, or whether it's joining our PAM and managed accounts with flagship and or Athena, Zeus EA, or a mixture, okay? then you can decide what kind of discount might be available if you want to join the PAMs or make a investment directly via crypto. Okay, then you can figure out which discount is for you. And if you're not sure which methods to trade, there's also an investment questionnaire that is available at the Elite Currency website, and you can fill it in, and then you can get some clues about what type of trader you are, what type of risk you can handle. But of course, it's just an extra aid. The decision is always yours because you know yourself the best. But it gives you an extra kind of opinion that you might want to take into account. But so yeah, feel free to fill in that investment questionnaire, but always, of course, decide for yourself because you know yourself the best. Okay, and you know what kind of drawdown and risk you can handle. And if you don't know for sure, then always start with lower risk. So you test the waters. You get to see how you feel with drawdowns, and if you feel comfortable, you can take more risk. If you feel not comfortable, you can take less risk. All right. Now, how do you join? Well, you can top up directly. You just go to your account funding tab, select a method, and top up. Or you can that's the direct way. Or you can go through sponsored broker account. Again, you log into your account area. You complete the broker process, join our managed account, and then reach out to us. Okay. And yeah, basically try to, by doing that, you'll grab that discount on the profit share fees. Okay. All right. So yeah, any questions? Feel free to reach out. Now's the time. Let's see if there are any questions right now. Okay, one question here. Why do I like flagship the most? Is it the low drawdown that's the most interesting angle? Good question. I think that drawdown is certainly the key factor here, but it's not the only one. I think that also the fact that the trades are short is what I like. It is not actively trading with a very high frequency, so you get a couple of trades, a couple of days per week. So that also lowers the risk, in my view. It is the consistency of not only low drawdown, but also the monthly results. The worst monthly result I had was, I think, -3%. So that's also very low. Other statistics like the profit factor, the win rate, all very high. So it is certainly the low drawdown is a key factor, but there are other elements and aspects that I really like, including, of course, the 4-year track record. So that's why I have the most on flagship, but I do have some on Cronus, Zeus, Atheniae to diversify. Now you might wonder, how far should one go with this diversification? And I can't answer that for everyone, but for myself, I would not want to probably trade 100 different styles and systems. I mean, in theory, I guess it's possible, but I wouldn't want to do it. It would be a lot of work and updating and maintaining all these different systems, and I think eventually would become unproductive. So I think that style or type of diversification would go too far for me, at least. But I think certain amount of diversification is good, just to spread the risk, keep a feel of what strategies might be doing better at what different phases of the market cycles and fundamentals and interest rates and currency technical analysis. So currency pairs. So I think it a certain amount of diversification makes sense in my view. Okay. All right. I don't see any questions. Otherwise, sorry, my camera wasn't working today. I would like to, discuss this face to face, or with me in the background there talking to you, but wasn't working today. Hopefully, over 2 weeks it will. Thank you for joining again. Wish you all, of course, great trading. Hope you join live webinar. Of course, it's always more fun to interact like that. But otherwise, we will be always uploading these videos to YouTube. So feel free to check it out after the live session, of course, as well. And we'll see you over 2 weeks with the almost final results of November. Have a good trading. Cheers.